Welcome to Define You Radio. Class is in session with your host, the Southern Belle of Bold, Valencia Griffin Wallace. Are you ready to unapologetically build your confidence, achieve goals, and design a life worth living? Learn the life lessons and strategies to define your life, money, and business. Pens and papers ready? Class is now in session.
Hey kings and queens, it's your girl Valencia Griffin Wallace and welcome to Define You Radio. Today's guest, LaDonna Marie, was sent to us by our friend SwagHer Magazine. Make sure you visit them at swagher.net and tell them thank you because you guys are truly going to enjoy today's guest. A little bit about LaDonna. She empowers and encourages others so they can overcome obstacles and teaches them how to build resiliency skills. She also has a nonprofit in which she empowers girls. Y'all know we're all for the children here at Define You Radio. So make sure you stay tuned for today's fabulous interview. Also, I hope to see you, Queens, in Florida, September 27th through the 29th at the Move Retreat. It is going to be fabulous. And why do you need a retreat? Because queens need a break too. You guys can find out more at valenciagwallace.com/events. With that being said, pens and papers ready. Class is now in session. Welcome to Define You Radio. Class is in session. I'm your host, Valencia Griffin Wallace. I already told you guys about our fabulous guest today. So we're just going to go ahead and welcome her to the show. So Miss LaDonna Marie, welcome to Define You Radio.
Hello, and thank you so much for this opportunity.
I'm very excited to have you on for various reasons because you're an author. And I am a little partial to my co-writing, those in that writing space. But my audience definitely knows that I have a lot of authors on because I think we don't get enough exposure and
exactly
everything else. So yes. I just want to kick it off. What led you to write?
So what led me to write? I was about 14 and I felt misunderstood. I felt like I didn't have a voice. I felt like I had so much to say, but I just felt like no one understood me. And at that time of my life, I had an encounter with God, and he said that as I heal you, the words that you write will help me to heal others. And so at the age of 14, my journaling turned into poetry. I was reading Maya Angelou, the late great Maya Angelou. I was reading Nikki Giovanni. We were doing some Romeo and Juliet, different lines, A-B lines when I was back in high school early on. And it was just so amazing to me. And so my need to encourage, to empower, to uplift, and to bring people out of a place of discouragement started me on this journey of almost 21 years of encouraging others and helping them to discover the champion that's on the inside of them.
I love it. I love it, especially since you've been doing it so long. And something you hit on, you talked about reading. And I tell people all the time, if you don't read, you are not a writer. That's just how I feel.
Right, exactly.
So what's the last good book you read, or what are you reading now?
So it's so awesome that me and a bunch of my friends, some ladies that we do a prayer call in the morning time. And so we were doing like this traveling book. And the title of the book is by this lady named Brenda LaSure. And it's called Ashes to Ashes, Dust to Dust, Women Don't Cry No More, 21 Causes of Self-Inflicting Tears. And this book was amazing. It's like it hit on, those areas of growth, those areas that, you may need to be empowered, or the areas that you put on your big girl underwear and, just go forth in the growth area because, you're tired of being stuck in certain areas. And so that book was amazing, to me. And I have some other ones. I mean, I've been following Patricia King on God's TV. I watch a lot of her stuff on YouTube. And she has a book called, I think it's God's Law of Attraction. And so I really, try to read different things and other poets and, to help me to kind of get a different perspective and hear a different point of view on the things about life, that's going on in my life.
I love that. And I'm going to have to check both of those out, definitely. My last book, because I've been on a journey all year to read the Bible from beginning to end, Lord.
Mm-hmm.
People don't understand. It sounds easier than it is.
Trust me, I know. I know.
My last book was Can't Stop Me, by David Goggins. That's the guy's name, and it's really kind of this no holds barred. Nobody cares if you're in pain.
Okay.
The real warrior that's inside of all of us. And one of the things he talks about is how our mind actually is stronger than we think.
Right.
Our bodies. So when you think about how you empower others, do you think that most people just really have like a whole mindset issue? Like it's their mindset that's just messing up everything else?
Yes, I definitely do think it because it is where you think. It's where you where your thoughts go. And I try always to be positive. I'm not gonna say that there aren't some things that catch me off guard on a day-to-day basis, but I'm always positive, around my computers and even in my areas, that I'm always at. I have different like little sayings that I know I have like, I am stronger, I'm better, I'm focused, I'm enough. I'm looking at that right now. I'm ready, I'm courageous, I'm resilient, I can handle it. So, and then getting up in the morning, after I thank God, the next thing that I do, I have like positive morning affirmations, I am beautiful, I am smart, I am intelligent. And so I think that what you focus on the most, and we hear people say this all the time, is what you get the most. And so when you focus on negative things and you do not find things to, show the gratitude or encourage yourself, then you tend to stay in that negative zone. And so it has to be a mindset shift. It has to be you retraining yourself to unlearn some things that you learned and implement, like actually do it, some things that are new, they're going to take the place of the way that you always think. I want to just tell you this really quick. I know God was talking to me at the beginning, at the last of 2018. And one thing that he gave me was that we need to change our default settings. And the thing about that is because, default settings, when you change and you go back after your phone's been working for so long, you need to reset it. You go back to old settings, like to restore it to where it was in the beginning. But what he was saying was that we need to change those settings because sometimes we don't need to go back to where we were, because if we go back, that means everything that we learned and everything that we, accomplished and everything that we put in place to kind of help us to grow, that we've erased all of those. And so now when we go back, we need to make sure that we stay at a level that everything that we learn, that we use it. And so that was so awesome to me, because every day of our life, every day is not going to be the same, but it's your choice and your positivity to change your mindset.
You just said so much good stuff. I'm taking notes, which is one of the reasons I call the show Classes in Session, because I'm a note taker. I love to learn. I really love the analogy with the phones, I love that. It's simple. Even what they say in that one movie, even a 5-year-old could get it or something. Because most 5-year-olds these days have phones.
Right, exactly. They do. You're in a new era.
So you wake up every morning and you affirm yourself. But how do you, when you're starting off having a great day, the sun's shining, everything's feeling great, and then something ridiculous, bad or something like that happens, how do you bounce back from that?
So for me, because that, true enough, that happened to me last week. And I was so excited. I was bubbly. And then all of a sudden the situation happened. And then I took a moment to myself to kind of, just reflect on what had just happened. And then after I did that for myself, then I chose to shift the way that I was thinking and how, I saw that situation, because it's a learning situation. It's a learning curve. Most of the time, like they say, and it is true, when we don't learn, certain situations or things that we go through, then we continue to go through that. So I said to myself, the next time this happens, I want to be able to catch myself quicker than, this time. I know I was kind of like threw off a little bit, but I reflected on what happened. I said, okay, so the next time when something like this happens, I'm going to immediately start to find the positive, think of some things to, ways of gratitude that I'm, happy about. And then know that if it's the other person or something else beyond my control, then I can't, be upset if it's something that I can't control. But what I can control is LaDonna. So I switched to focus on what can I do for myself, not the other person, not pointing fingers, not the situation, because things will happen every day. But we just have to be, I was able to not, be hard on myself and take myself off of not put myself on like, oh my goodness, I didn't really do good. I just said, hey, next time I want to be able to catch this situation before it happens. And this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to start thinking positive thoughts. I'm going to say something to myself. I'm going to get up and take a break. I'm going to walk away and just start to implement the positivity. And I'm not going to feed the negativity. So if you feed it, it will grow. And so people can't argue, or whatever the situation. Most times folks can't argue by themselves. So if you leave the conversation, then there is no conversation.
You just, oh my goodness. So
Thank you.
I love that. And I don't argue, like, to me it's and this is one of the things I've learned in one of my college classes, was that most people argue out of emotion.
Right.
And probably especially women. Yeah, I said it. Women, we're emotional creatures. And instead of fact. So that's like the differences. So I guess my husband and my son, like they understand, like there's no point in going back and forth with me because I'm coming with facts.
Right.
And it's such a waste of energy, and who wins at the end? Sometimes
exactly.
You gotta agree to disagree. You gotta walk away. You gotta say I don't ever have to see this person ever again.
Yes, that's what I said. I was like, I am not going in that direction again. Lesson learned.
Right. Is that part of, because either it was on your website or something, I checked you out and I saw something. Yes, I am. I'm telling you, I tell people if I ever start another business, it'll probably be like a private investigator type situation, because I like to find out about people, especially that's coming on the show. And somewhere I saw something about resiliency skills, and I thought that was very interesting. So maybe you can share what exactly is a resiliency skill.
Okay, so resiliency skills are the skills that like help you to bounce back. When you're going through different things, because I like my slogan for my business, I said that I assist individuals with transforming their life through personal development and, resiliency skills. And so resiliency skills are things that help you to change your perspective. They help you to see things from a different view, try things that you do differently, like self-care. Sometimes if you're always used to putting everybody else first, then sometimes when you step back, and as a resiliency skill, you have to learn how to put yourself first, and that self-love and self-care build you up to where you can make sure you're good, before you try to help someone else. That's just like they tell us on the airplanes. please put your stuff on first, and then, you help and reach out to help the other person. So most of the time it's just building those resiliency skills. It's just different things that help you go through your life to learn to do things differently. And so I'm basically, helping people with, even like if it's anger, if you're getting angry from situations, then I used to be a therapist too. So sometimes you tell you, hey, take 5 minutes, breathe in and out, walk away from a situation that will help you. Maybe you can do something else like listen to some music. So anything that will change and interrupt the pattern of something that you've already been doing, but they are positive things. And so building up your resiliency will help you to be able to bounce back with a better and more emotional stable way.
Self-care is like a huge part of that. Self-care and self-love. One of my, I guess you could call it resiliency skill, is I have a punching bag, right? So
Yeah.
if everything else doesn't work to get my mind back to where it needs to be, I'll put on my boxing gloves and go hit that a few times. And some people may see that as a little violent or whatever. I don't know, but that's what works for me.
Right. And that's good, because I promise you, kid you not, my son asked me the other day, just because, he wants to take up boxing and, all this other stuff. But then in my mind, I said, that'll be a good thing, that if we do get it, that whenever he may be upset or angry, like you said, he has frustration or something. I was like, hey, how about we just shift in this moment and you go punch that bag a little bit, and then it'll take all of that aggression and everything that you have and that frustration, and you'll put it into something so that you won't do something else, like go and say something to somebody or get into an argument. So I think that that's a good tool to implement instead of the way that you would always do something.
I love that. And I definitely encourage you to assist him with that journey. And even for you too, if there's a certain freedom in boxing and kickboxing. And honestly, if you're like truly upset about something or whatever, you put on the right music and wear the bag out, so to speak.
Right.
You get to a point to where you're so exhausted that whatever made you mad or whatever doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
Like it's I don't know. I don't know how to explain it, but I always encourage people to do some sort of physically, aggressive activity. At least that's what helps me.
Right. Yeah, that's a good thing.
Would you consider writing to be your purpose in life?
I would consider it to be my purpose, because it allows me to, encourage others that I can't see, those that I would never meet, because I always tell people, you will get from me, whether I'm speaking or I'm doing a conference or something, or like a one-day retreat that I'm doing for some girls for my nonprofit, or writing these books, doing interviews, such as this, then you'll get that same positivity and encouragement that you would get in my books. And so writing became a voice for me, for the people that not only that were close to me, but that were around the world, so that I can reach them international, nationally, just make a global impact, to impact lives and influence people that I will probably never meet face to face. And so the everything that, God has allowed me to pour into these books, encouragement and empowerment, and, will help people, like I said, that I'll never get a chance to meet. And so I really do feel that it's a part of my purpose, because all I've ever wanted to do was to encourage people. I never wanted them to feel the way that I felt when I was 14. Felt like I was, alone and didn't want to, go on. And even in that stage of my life, I attempted to commit suicide. And so this is when the gift of writing, that God placed it into my life, because he was like, I have something better for you. And so when he said that he was going to heal me, and when he began to heal me, I took on this ultimate, like a part of my purpose and the mission and goal of my life is to impact lives and to empower people. And so it's been really amazing. Books have been all over the world. And I'm thankful. All I care about at the end of the day is that the person that reads the book, that their life is changed, that they're not the same way that they were when they started reading it, because they get that sense of growth and awareness that they need, that they may not be getting from someone that is close to them.
Hence you being named International Author of the Year in London.
Yes, that was such an
Congratulations.
amazing. Thank you so much. Oh my goodness, I'm still in awe, of that. And it was for two different books, like two of my books, my children's book and one that I had done for women, Lessons, Mirror Conversations, and Larry the Alligator Makes Friends. But in both of those books, I wanted to, I put skills in there on how to overcome your adversity, how to persevere, how to heal your wounds, and how to, look at the Lord and grow with, his word and his encouragement, and just give it to, like, even for the children, give it to them on a language where they could have the language for, assertiveness and how to handle bullies and, stuff like that. So winning that award in London was just like my childhood dream at 14, what he spoke to me coming true, that I would impact nations and, different people all over the world with the words that he gave me. And I'm thankful.
Is it harder to write a children's book than an adult book?
It's not, because the thing about it, funny thing, I was always joking and saying out loud, I'm just a poet, because I had 5 poetry books. I have 5 poetry books. I've written them. And I used to just say I'm a poet. And then one day, all of a sudden, the Lord just downloaded the children's book to me. And this was in the middle of me writing like my first devotional and, another book. I think this was 2015. I was writing about 3 books at the same time. And the children's book, it just came to me because what you want to do is you want to connect with your readers. And so I wrote with the end in mind, like, what did I want the young kids to take away? And how did I, want to explain it to them? And how could I, get on their level that they could understand it? And just doing that, the book was amazing. It came to me in one sitting. And then I was like, wow, this is so amazing. And children all over the world have been reading it. Even my own son, I wrote it for him. He's about to be 9 years old, but he was 3 at the time. So I wrote it to encourage his journey, because we lived in a place where friends were coming and going all the time, and he needed language for how to handle, when you have to continue to keep making friends, and then those who don't want to be friends with you, like, what do you do with that? Because that's rejection, and you don't want kids to grow up with rejection. I grew up and I felt rejected, and so I had to learn lessons along the way. So now I wanted to, turn around and give back at an early age lessons to younger adults, teens, everyone, so they could have that language and know what to do.
Okay, number one, I'm a little jealous because, like, I know, like, I have a children's book in me, and I've gotten bits and pieces, but I'm an overthinker, and everything. I'm interviewing my niece because it's for her age group, trying to see what she's reading. So that's definitely something I am going to do, hopefully before the year is out or something. It's just finding that voice as a kid, because I feel like I was a very grown up kid. So I wasn't reading, I wasn't reading what the other kids were reading. Like in 8th grade, I was, downing Stephen King, who was one of my favorite authors. Who's doing that in 8th grade? Well, maybe now, but not then. I kind of want to rewind a little bit, because we talked about around when you were 14, and you talked about, feeling like you didn't have a voice and feeling rejected, have you analyzed, as an adult and as a therapist, have you analyzed why you felt that way?
Yes, I did. And it was because the person who is before you today, all the awards and, thanking God for what he's done for my life, I knew this because he told it to me at 14. And so a 14-year-old telling everyone else the things the vision that he gave me was like absurd. Like, really?
Right.
You are not finna write out, you're not finna write them books. You're not finna, like, who you about to encourage? And so I felt torn between being who God has called me to be and being the person that my surroundings suggested that I should be. So I was torn between the two. And that made me, like, such a young age, I didn't know if I wanted to press against it or if I just wanted to sit in it. And so I just chose to believe God for greater, believe him for what he said. And even though it hurt that people didn't believe in me and they didn't support me or they had words to say, I still had to hold my head up high. I still had to write whenever he gave it to me. I still had to steal away and, put everything that I had. But those things that I went through, now they're the basis of why I encourage and why I'm so motivating and why I smile and why I can walk into a room and people can, they call me sunshine and light. It's because I chose to believe when nobody else believed, but God believed. And so for me, and I was just writing that today because I was, I'm always trying to figure out what's my next little speech that I'm going to do on my lives and my Instagram TV. And I wrote today, I was like, at very early on, the enemy tried to plant the seed of discouragement within me. And he was shooting arrows to make me feel like I couldn't be who God wanted me to be. But the only thing that changed that is every day God validates me. He told me that I validate you. If nobody else validates you, I validate you. So that gave me enough strength, enough faith, that little seed of that's mustard seed faith, to pick my head up every day and continue to write. And so now I have 9 books of my own. I have 12 co-authored that I've done with other people, international, around the world. I've gone, and I give all the glory to God because I chose to believe in what he said and not what the naysayers said or what they tried to, what the enemy tried to get me to believe about myself.
I love that. I like, I'm so serious. I've been writing since I was 8. And I remember being told you can't make money doing that. So I stopped writing, like, like it, I just got frustrated and I felt like I was weird because I like to write. I like to draw. I wanted to create my own comic books and all of those things. And I always tell people, like, the key to your purpose is often found in your childhood.
Exactly. Right. And it's the one thing that they try to get you to not do the most. It is that. And I promise you, like, I was sitting up here and, I'm still going to do this and trying to make sure that, what I wanted to say. But that's what it is, because the one thing that tries to get you not to do, that's the one thing that you should do and that you should press against it, and breaking outside of the fears and just trusting and believing in who you are and what you've done. Because I promise you, as I began to write all of these books, and every time, sometimes even my tail was between my legs, but I had enough faith to say, if you're going to give it to me, I'm going to write it. If you're going to download it to me, I'm going to make sure that I do something with it, and I'm going to share it, and I'm going to, show up, and I'm going to show up for what you want for me to get accomplished in my lifetime. And that's the way that I have been doing. I've been doing that ever since.
Well, kudos. And I'm telling you, that's how I know you're a real writer. Because I tell people, anybody could write a book. I mean, that's my honest feelings. Like, because a lot of people are writing a book,
right?
But a writer, like I said, I would give up everything, and I love everything I do, but I would give up everything. And if God said you only could keep one, it would be
Mm,
writing. I would give up
right.
everything else except my writing.
Hmm.
So I wanted to really quick your
Okay.
nonprofit for girls.
Yay. So
I yeah, tell me about that because I love that.
I'm so excited. So what happened was in 2013, I mean, I get these downloads. God told me he wanted me to help him with his children. And I mean, children could be the adults, could be, the teens. And he was like, I need you to help me with them. And he gave me two poems. And one of the poems was called I See You, and the other poem was called God Conversation, well, Conversations with God. And these were poems because there are, and even myself, how he found me, because I was out there and, I was kind of lost and I was stuck. And so he wanted me to help them to be able to find their encouragement. And so and he said it was going to be called Planting Positive Seeds. So Planting Positive Seeds is a group that empowers, encourages, and motivates, teens, women, adults, to help them to discover the champion in them. Because sometimes our champion is locked behind situations, fear, doubt, sometimes just even ourselves, getting over ourselves, because that was me, most of the time. And so since 2013, I've been doing conferences. I started with my first Youth for Christ conference in 2013. In
Mm-hmm.
2015, I did my second one. It was Discover the Champion in You, Restoration and Resiliency. And just 2018, I did my third one, and it was called A Season to Cry Out. Planting Positive Seeds presents A Season to Cry Out. And coming June 22nd, I will be doing Planting Positive Seeds presents the one-day retreat, Teen Empowerment, Maximizing Your Inner Strength. And this is to help them to build who they are, to
Yeah.
know the love of God so that they can understand who they are. They can understand their worth. They can understand that they are powerful, and to help them to be emotionally stable. I focus on the mind, your emotions, and just your will to be a better person and to get unstuck from the things that try to attach to you. And so mostly what was going on in my life, he gave me the language to help me to overcome and to believe in myself and to be encouraged through his words and through his constant validation. And so I just really want to reach out and give that to other people. And so through my conferences and now through the mentoring one-day retreat that I'm going to be doing, it gives me an opportunity. And I bring in other speakers and I bring in other women because there's room for everyone. And I want them to be able to share their gifts and their talents, with everyone, that comes, so that they can be able to glean from us and to know that you really don't have to do anything to get something. And so I want to pour into them all that he's given me, especially with this encouragement and empowerment.
I love that.
Thank
And I'm
you.
not just saying it because anyone that's connected with me knows I'm a child advocate
Mm-hmm.
here in Louisiana. And that's very important to me because kids, I had a juvenile judge tell me when we talked about how the system sucks in Louisiana and,
Mm-hmm.
where our kids are and stuff. He says at the end of the day, kids don't vote and they don't pay taxes. So a lot of people aren't checking for kids. Ain't no other way for me to say it.
Exactly. You're right.
So being that fighter and letting them know you don't have to do what the world says. You don't have to, you know, be half dressed and booty shots and all that
Exactly.
extra. And no, it's not gonna be easy. It's never easy to be different.
Right.
So thank you for doing that because I think more women should focus on the kids because we
Yeah.
were kids. So thank you so
Yes.
much with
You're
all your
so
stuff.
welcome.
You're you're like the bomb.com for real. And I don't care how old that is. I'm gonna say it forever. Say it
Right.
forever.
Thank you.
Okay. No, go
I
ahead.
want to say one thing because what you said earlier, and this is what I learned in my childhood, and you said it, they made you feel like you were weird. And that's the
Yeah.
thing for me. They made me feel like the special part that God was saying that I had, the unique part, it made me feel like I was weird to want to encourage people at 14. I was weird to want to just hug people and love people and say, hey, it's going to be okay. Or I'm here with you. I'm holding your hand. And so planting positive seeds, promoting peace while serving and helping them to promote, growth and awareness and being a beacon of hope for others and for the kids, because I said, God, I'm going to do it regardless of whatever I have. So I started with my own money. I started doing it, and like this season, I have so many donors and so many sponsors who just said, LaDonna, I will help you. And they've been sending in, and my heart is so overjoyed because they get it. Like, they see things that I've done, and I don't do things to be like, to be noticed. I do things because they're so deep embedded into my heart, because I was a 14-year-old, teenage girl. I am a single woman with 2 kids, single mom with 2 children who are still doing things and traveling the world and loving her sons and showing them that they matter. And so I want women to know that you can do it, and teens to know that you can do it too. And you can have a positive mindset, and you're going to have some bad days, but just don't give up. Don't give up.
That's a word right there. So how can the audience get in touch with you? I know we didn't get a chance to touch on one of your many books with this 21 Days of Positive Inspiration, but y'all know y'all going to be able to find everything, because you need to connect with LaDonna. You need to support her, send a donation.
Thank you.
All of the above. Y'all got money. I know how much money you spend. I'm just saying. So how can the audience get in touch with you, find out how to, support your projects and your books?
Okay. Thank you so much. So you can go to www.LaDonnaMarie.org. That's where the books are. You can, buy books there. I can sign them and send them to you. You can see all of the things that I've been doing. You can also go on Amazon. Type in LaDonna Marie. You'll see me there with the mini books, encouragement, empowerment. They're there for you. For my nonprofit, please, if you want to donate to a great cause. It's plantingpositiveseeds.com. I have a website. You can go on there. You can donate. I have bracelets. You can sponsor. I am on Facebook under LaDonna Marie. I have a fan page called LaDonna Marie Books. I also have a page for Planting Positive Seeds. You just type it in. You'll see the green, yellow, and orange. That's me for Planting Positive Seeds. But anywhere you type in LaDonna Marie, you will see LaDonna Marie Books or Planting Positive Seeds. And again, those websites are www.LaDonnaMarie.org. And it's just like Madonna, but with an L. And that's www.plantingpositiveseeds.com.
Yay!
Yay!
Well, kings and queens, with that being said, pens and papers down. Class is officially over.
I love it.
Subscribe to the show. Connect with the guest and everything great she's doing. LaDonna, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Until next time, remember, your past doesn't define you. It gives you definition. And what you do with that is up to you.
Thanks for listening to Define You Radio. Class is in session. Connect with the show at www.defineyouradio.com. Pens and papers down. Class is over.